Hey guys, it's Kimmy from A Kid's Opinion, and my birthday was 2 weeks ago, and I turned 14. So I decided I would do a video, favorite movie from every year I was born. Um, so yes, I'm very excited for this video. I think I made a list for it like a year or two ago. And obviously as 2020 more movies came out for that year, and for 2021. I kind of, and I watched more movies in general. I kind of edited a little bit. Um, yeah, so let's start with 2007, the year I was born. So I'm actually gonna have to go with Transformers for this one. So I just remember having fond memories of this movie. Like thinking it was awesome when I first saw it. Like I've always been a fan of Michael Bay is one of my favorite directors, and this is just such a Michael Bay movie, like with all of his corny jokes, and all of his like nonstop crazy action, pulled like notched up to 11, I should say, and a fantastic cast. I've It's been a while since I've seen this movie, but I do have very fond memories of it. And while it's probably one of my least favorite movies on this list, I'm a big fan of it, and I've actually never seen the sequels, and I don't know why I haven't, because I'm a really big fan of the first one. So 2008 is going difficult because this year also has The Dark Knight in it, but I'm gonna have to go with Iron Man because it did launch my favorite movie franchise of all time, the MCU, and also Iron Man. I didn't like it when I was okay with it when I first saw it, but then when I rewatched it, I really understood why everybody liked it. It had great characters, a villain that I like. Maybe his motivation wasn't great, but I think that Jeff Bridges is a good actor, so I liked him in that. Um, he was Obadiah Stane in that movie, and I just really like the world that it created. Tony Stark, like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, is just a great character as he goes kind of through this character arc at the beginning of this movie. And even though it's one of the first MCU movies, it's not like it feels bleak and boring because it doesn't have this whole world already established. No, it's exciting because you are establishing this world, and there's still enough going on that you are excited. And this is probably one of my favorite MCU movies, and I'm a very big fan of this movie. 2009 is going to be the movie 2012. I think I saw this movie 1 or 2 years ago on Netflix, and I was shocked why I've never heard anybody talk about it. It was one of the greatest disaster films I've ever seen, by far. While I'm not a huge fan of John Cusack, this movie, the first half was like entertaining, exciting, and then the second half was one of the most intense, like, parts of a movie I've ever seen. Like all these characters that you care about, they're quirky, they've been established, are like almost dying or they do die. With some of the cases, with the characters in this movie, like the character Gordon. Spoilers, but the character Gordon, who's like the John Cusack's ex-wife's current husband, he kind of does go through this arc where he's like a nicer. Just him and John Cusack kind of almost form a bond where they're no longer like mad at each other. They kind of respect each other. And when he dies, it doesn't feel like a waste, like cheap, like just get him out of the movie. No, it feels good when characters die, except for one death in particular. It feels earned, and there's even one guy who's kind of a jerk throughout the movie, and then at the end he makes a sacrifice, saving his kids. Just one of the most underrated movies of all time. Like I've shown this movie to people, or I've talked about it to people, and like they all agree that it's a good movie. So yes, go out and watch the movie 2012. 2010 is going to be Inception. Yeah, I saw this movie probably like 2 years ago, and I loved it. Like, I was watching it with my brother, and he wasn't a huge fan of it, but all the layers, like, this is everything that Christopher Nolan does, this is his best. Yeah, there's other movies like Interstellar and Tenet. I feel like he does too much, like, Christopher Nolan stuff, which is, like, just too complex. But this movie wasn't too complex for me, and I really liked it. All the characters, I like the subplot with Leonardo DiCaprio. I originally thought this movie was just a drama, and it works on a drama level, but it's also an action movie. Um, and all like how the characters act, they're smart, and like all the everything that's like going wrong, the characters are like have they're smart enough to get out of it. It's not just like they get lucky to get out of it. No, the characters are smart. They have skills that help them get out of these situations. 2011 is going to be Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Not my favorite of the Mission Impossible movies, but I love, like, this is when, like, Mission Impossible 3 was good, but this is when we started getting to know what the Mission Impossible movies would be like. Um, it, yeah, we get the introduction of one of the best characters in the franchise, Jeremy Renner's character in this movie. Just, oh, like, great action, great comedy, like, just, I haven't seen this movie in a little while, so I don't have, like, a bunch prepared to talk about it, but when I look back on this movie, I just feel like I should rewatch that again. Like, I don't know how many times I'm going through and like, which Mission Impossible movie should I watch? And I'm like, how about Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol? And then I start watching it, then I get busy, so then a few weeks later I say, oh yeah, I should watch Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. So it's just one of my favorite, and definitely the best movie in 2011. 2012, it's got to be The Avengers. The first MCU movie I watched, it didn't introduce me to it wasn't my introduction to the MCU. But still, if it wasn't for this movie, if it wasn't as good as it was, I probably wouldn't have wanted to watch the sequels. Just everything in this movie is almost perfect. I don't like it. I don't prefer it as much as I prefer the other movies, the other Avengers movies, mainly because it doesn't have as many of the other characters. But for what they had, this is like a perfect movie for everything that they were able to do with it. In 2013, it's going to be Fast and Furious 6, by far the most underrated movie in the Fast and the Furious franchise. I watched this and I was blown away, because I've always heard about how like the 7th Fast and Furious and the 5th one were like the best, and the 5th one was underwhelming me. Then I saw the 6th one and I was like the one of the greatest villains with Owen Shaw, Luke Evans, Owen Shaw, Letty being back in the mix was fun to watch. Like you get like all your characters. Like this is even like when you get like the whole crew, like the best of the crew, you get them in it together. And that's kind of like after this, the crew splits up of like Gal Gadot's character and Han that's like really like their last movies in the franchise so far. For now, who knows? It's a Fast and Furious franchise. Anybody can come back and live. Yeah. So definitely, if you watch the first few Fast and Furious movies and you're like, these aren't that good, just keep watching them. They're gonna start getting really good, and Fast and Furious 6 is one of, if not the best Fast and Furious movie, and definitely underrated. 2014 is one of the best MCU movies of all time. Sorry, Marvel movies of all time. Captain America and the Winter Soldier, again, almost a perfect movie in every level. I love how they do something different in this movie with almost like Hydra, like S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't what it seems to be, it's actually Hydra. Robert Redford as Alexander Pierce is one of my favorite Marvel villains. The introduction of the Winter Soldier, it's really, in the twist of it's really Bucky, was very exciting. Yeah, so again, I've been saying this a lot, but a nearly perfect movie. 2015 had a lot of movies that meant a lot to me. It had Jurassic World, Hacksaw, really Hacksaw Ridge didn't mean much to me because I recently saw it, but great movies. They had Hacksaw Ridge, Jurassic World, Pixels, which I loved, and American Sniper. I know there's one more that I can't think of right now, But my gosh, that this year have a lot of fantastic movies. Actually, I actually think that Fast and Furious 7 came out this year, which was also amazing. But this movie meant so much to me. Avengers: Age of Ultron. Wow, every time I watch this, it holds up to me. I think it's underrated. Maybe I'm missing a few of the flaws that everybody says because of the nostalgia. Because it was a movie that introduced me to the MCU. I heard about it. I wanted to watch it, so I watched the first Avengers. Thought it was great. Went to watch Age of Ultron, and my mind was blown. I loved this movie. I always wanted to watch it. I bought it like immediately when it came out on Blu-ray. Whenever I rewatch it, I liked it even more. Ultron is a great villain. I love the fight scenes in this. I love the ending. I love that they introduced Vision. I love that they introduced Wanda. I love Quicksilver. I love like everything about this movie. 2016 is going to be Captain America: Civil War. Captain America: Civil War is another one where like the conflict is like perfect. Like, it's not like, you know what, let's have Iron Man fight Captain America for no reason. No. They come up with a very realistic way why these two characters would be mad at each other. They kind of take some overarching viewpoints of the two and like clash them against each other, and then they also take some like personal stuff with the two and like in the final battle and clash them against each other. They introduce Zemo, who's one of my favorite MCU villains. I've said that before, but the MCU, when they have good villains, they have fantastic villains. And like just Zemo in here is like he gets even better as he keeps going on. And his motivation is also very understandable. 2017 is Thor Ragnarok. This like also I saw this, and again, the first thing that comes to mind whenever I hear this movie is awesome. Like, it's funny, it's got a lot of action. They make the Thor franchise much better. The reason why I can't wait for Thor: Love and Thunder is partially and mostly because of how much I loved Thor Ragnarok. I mean, it was such like a great movie. That's why it's like the best movie of this year. And like, I think this was like battle with Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle for me. I love both of those movies, but I think because it had maybe barely more likable characters for me, with Thor and Loki, and Korg and me, just so much in this movie is exciting, awesome. I love this movie. 2018 is my favorite Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible Fallout. I saw this movie and my mind was blown. While I was watching the movie, I was like, this could be the end of the movie. No, this could be the end. No, this could be the end of the movie. Like, it had so many possible endings, but the one they chose was amazing. It's not like it should have ended before. It's like the movie had a stopping point where they could have just stopped it, instead of risking a ruined ending. But no, they're like, you know what? No, we're gonna go with our gut. And then they made like that ending. I remember my jaw was like this while I was watching. I was probably like, well, Henry Cavill is fighting Tom Cruise, in helicopters clashing against each other. They crash into the cliff. I was just like, wow, this is awesome. Like, probably top 10 movies of all time for me. Like, I love Mission Impossible Fallout. So now, 2019, Avengers Endgame. Now, and this could just be because the ending is one of the greatest pieces of cinema in the entire world. But it's also because, like, the movie before this, it's funny. You understand the characters. You understand what they're going through. It's not just saying, you know what, let's create time travel. No, it's, again, the MCU, while being, talking raccoon in the MCU, it also has, like, some logic, and it is realistic when it comes to how things are established. And it has that, and it also has, like, the greatest fight scene of all time. and it has so much emotion jam packed in there, where characters make these sacrifices that are earned, not just tacked in there to make people cry or whatever, or to make people feel emotion. No. These are earned sacrifices. 2020 for me is going to be Bad Boys for Life. My favorite Bad Boys movie. My favorite Will Smith movie. It's probably my favorite Will Smith movie. Um, Again, another one that has so much emotion in it, but it also has great action and great comedy. A great ending to it. Um, like that ending with like the fire in the background and what's his name, man? Oh my gosh, I can't think of Will Smith's character, and Mike, with Mike's son saving him, and then at the end Mike walks up to his son and goes, there might be a way that you can get less jail time. um and like it's kind of teasing the Bad Boys for it. I'm like, yes, yes, all the way. I can't wait for this movie. Like before I watched this, I heard everybody saying how good it was, and I was like, could it really be that good? Oh yes, it can be that good. That, like, even Birds that rivaled Birds of Prey for me. But yeah, that my favorite movie of 2020, definitely. Now 2021, spoiler alert, it's gonna be Nobody. Some of you, like, probably very surprised, but this movie was everything I hoped for it to be and more. Just a menacing villain that you immediately hated from the start. He didn't really care about anybody but himself. And even, I think, like, even when he avenged his brother, I think it was more about people not being allowed to mess with him and his family rather than actually caring about his brother. So it was just this menacing villain and a very understandable and like this guy that you kind of cope with him as he's being a dad, stuck in like the suburbs, and he kind of wants an escape, and then he like lets his anger out because it's all tumbled in, and then he kind of has to pay the consequences, and then just an awesome fight scene at the end. And even though it's not like the biggest blockbuster of all time, it's such a good movie. Yeah, so yeah, that's my favorite movie of 2021. So this is probably one of my favorite videos that I've done because I've been waiting to do this video. And you might get like one like this in maybe next year, or if I continue my channel for more years to come, you might get another video like this in a few years. So yeah, please like and subscribe. Give me comments in the comment section. Give me suggestions on how to improve my channel. Please give me recommendations on movies and TV shows to talk about, rank, review. I'm Jimmy from A Kid's Opinion, and be good people.